Beautiful day, Bravehearts. I'm Dr. Sage Wolf, and I am out here in Ixtapa, Mexico, Zihuatanejo, Mexico, at the DoD 5-Star World Healing and Training Retreat. And so what we do out here, we do everything from teaching Wolf non-surgical to whole life coaching to doing energy medicine healing. And today we are going to be going over the Bhn Powerpack Healing with 3 beautiful practitioners that I have on here. And so today we're going to be going over what is the Powerpack Healing, what is the Cell Sonic, what is the Cardio Bed, and why are these 2 energy medicine devices so important for your healing? And yes, we can heal in so many different ways, and we always want to be constantly focusing on detoxing to some degree, because we live in a very toxic society nowadays, and like our world is constantly getting more and more toxic. And so we want to be adamant about, I'm doing daily things from supplementation support, and it's not just supplements, it's more so nutraceuticals, because I want it the highest vibrational possible. And so I want to be putting the highest vibrational of supplements or of nutraceuticals, of foods into my body for my benefit. And I want to be constantly working on some form of elimination through my lymphatic system. And your lymphatic system only works in 3 ways, guys, and that's sweating, peeing, and pooing. And there's a lot of people on there who say, oh, I don't sweat. That's because your lymphatic system's probably pretty backed up. And sometimes my bowels are pretty off and inconsistent. Well, you may have something from a stricture to scar tissue to adhesions to dehydration. There's a plethora of reasons why your body's systems can start to slow down. And the more toxic we are, the more toxic, and it's not just physically, guys, it's emotionally, it's nutritionally, so it's my thoughts, it's my feelings, it's how I take things in. That is going to be creating a more stagnant, a more putrefied environment for my body to want to detox itself. So let's start off with like the cardio bed. People nowadays are so stagnant. We are generally, if you go back 100 years, we used to be outside 80 to 90% of the time. Yes, we have houses, we're not living outside and such, but we are outside now 2% of our lives. That is not much. We are not meant to be inside that much. We are not meant to be that stagnant, because a lot of us just stay stagnant sitting at the computer, doing not much at nights, not going out and getting the exercise that my body deserves, not going out and doing my nightly walks, not doing stretching. And I'm okay with living a stagnant lifestyle. And that because it's so easy to get comfortable. And that comfortability is what's going to be putting you into that wheelchair, into that walker, into the nursing home. And that's going to be very detrimental to not just your life, but your family and your friends around you, because they see you breaking down. And then they think it's like, this is a normal way of living. The normal way of living nowadays is not normal at all. And in my personal opinion, it's a blatant attack against humanity, because we are living in a very toxic society. And so we have to now bring in these things because we are super stagnant. We are super toxic. So we geniuses out there have created these amazing energy medicine devices for our benefit. And so with the Cardio Med Bed, the Cardio Med Bed is so fantastic in general because, like I said, we are stagnant beings. It's a relaxing treatment. When you start to do it for an hour, sometimes it can feel like a little bit of a marathon at the beginning, but this is great for anybody with cardiomyopathy, really poor circulation, anything that consists of a circulatory issue or a heart issue, heart arrhythmia, palpitations, varicose veins, you name it. Circulation is going to be if you have great circulation, you don't have disease, because with beautiful circulation, you have the presence of oxygen, because there's oxygen within our blood. And so if I'm getting great circulation and blood throughout my whole body and there is no stagnation, I shouldn't have any autoimmune issues. I shouldn't have any diseases arising. I shouldn't have any little things or large things start to happen. And if you are in a situation where these things have arisen in your life and you now have one of these issues that I have just mentioned or something else, these devices are meant not to cure the disease, but to get the body's functioning back again, to get your body functioning at its optimal health so we can bring a proper environment that the body wants to heal itself. And so the Cardio Med Bed, it's so beautiful. You lie down, you relax, we have some soft music playing. And you're going to strap up on the calves, the thighs, and around the torso pelvis area. And that causes contractions in between your heartbeats because you're hooked up to an ECG machine, and that is going to be kind of telling us when it's going to contract. And so if you're a very hyper nervous person, it might have slow contractions. And if you have very slow heart rate, it might have faster contractions. It works to your essence. So the more you can control yourself, the more you can get into your breath, the more you can calm yourself down, the more the machine wants to work with you. The funny thing is, if somebody comes into the room and disturbs you while you're on the table, it starts kind of like glitching out because it says shows you're not in a state of relaxation. You're not in the parasympathetic state. We're getting at that present moment. And so the cardio med bed, great for cardiovascular disease, any kind of circulatory issues from, like I was saying, varicose veins. But the thing is, circulation is the problem. So if I'm getting like vertigo, and yes, it can be a scar tissue issue. And that scar tissue issue is going to be where I would say I might be wanting to implement the cell-sonic before I was doing the non-surgical. Because now it's a scar tissue issue because you've had an injury, you've broken your arm, you've fallen down, and your body had to overlay lots of fibrous tissue, lots of lactic and uric acid to the area to buffer down the inflammation that was happening at the moment. Because generally it wants to heal. That's what our body does. Like the kid breaks his arm, goes to the doctor, like maybe they have to reset the bone if something was out of conjunction, but generally the bone's gonna heal and the doctor will say, if the kid's healthy, it's gonna heal stronger than when the bone wasn't broken. But as we age, it's like grandma fell down and broke her hip and it wasn't even a big fall, but the thing is she had such bad osteopenia or osteoporosis that the holes were so big within her bones that her hip was broken already. The fall was just kind of it was the straw that broke the camel's back. And so then we'd want to go in with cell-sonic, and the cell-sonic is just, I would say, top of the line energy medicine device. There's nothing else out there like it. It is putting 25,000 volts into each individual cell in a love harmonic. And so some cells have then calcified. So then it's breaking the calcification that's causing that limitation or that issue. But then some cells over time can mutate, causing certain diseases, stage 4 inflammation, stage 3 inflammation. It doesn't really matter. There's toxicity within the cell and the cell is now mutated. But what happens when I put 25,000 volts in as a love harmonic into each individual cell? It shakes it, it cleans it out, and if it can't clean it out and replicate it, it will duplicate the cell to create a new one. And that is creating healthy cells throughout your body. And so, like I say, throughout life, we're exposed to heavy metals, EMFs, different toxicities. Some of us get jabbed, some of us get multiple jabs, and that stuff, you don't know exactly what's in it, and your body can't dispute it all. So where is it getting stored in? It's getting stored within your liver, your kidneys, and your spinal fluid. So we take the cell-sonic on these areas to some people who have gone to specific, what was happening 2 to 3 years ago when things were on lockdown and we knew that people were having to go because it was a mandatory thing and they went and got this thing and they weren't feeling so good now. So we would want to use the cell-sonic on their spine to clean out the spinal fluid because a lot of the vaccine will actually store within a lot of that will actually store within the spinal fluid. So we'll want to use that on the spine itself. And I've had clients who have been 1, 2, 3, multiple you-know-whats. And after a cell-sonic session, you'll see them like that evening, they are so worn out. Their body's filtering something out. And so I'm getting them on a proper diet, proper nutrition, because this is why we have the Perfect Day lifestyle. Go to the Doca Detox library to check it out. If you're not sure of all this and it's like, whoa, what he's talking about is way too overwhelming for me. I just want to learn a little bit about health. Go to the Doca Detox library and do it at your leisure. You don't have to come to our clinic. You don't have to go to my practitioners who are so amazing. But the thing is, if you want to take your health to that optimal level, or you feel like, hey, this resonates with me. I know that what he's saying actually makes sense and my body can heal itself given the right environment. I tell you all, please go check out some of our practitioners worldwide. They're so amazing. Come to our clinic in Ixtapa if you want to come for our training. Do this for you. But if you're somebody who's like, I just want to dip my toe in the water, Go to the DockADetoxLibrary.com, check out the Perfect Day Guide, check out the I Am Woman Guide, check out the Fasting for Health Guide, and just baby steps, guys, because you don't need to make it like a sprint. Health is a marathon. Health is something, because I know I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'll have a drink. When I was younger, I used to do some, and I still am very young. I'm 28 years old, but when I was younger, I used to do some more toxic things for my body. But I'm so adamant about, hey, I want to do more good than bad. Because I know, and this is the comparison I like to give too. If you have children, you have a true loved one, and they were as sick as can be, what wouldn't you do for them to get better? Would you show up at the hospital every single day and they said you need to be here for 18 hours a day and you need to do this for the next 3 months? I bet your dollar that you're going to be there for the 18 hours a day for the next 3 months, and you're not going to miss a heartbeat, because that is so important to you. But why do we allow that lack of self-love to come into ourselves, where we're so toxic and we build up these things, and then all of a sudden, now that this big thing happens, stage 4 inflammation, this major autoimmune issue, now I have to care. Now I have to love myself. But before, it was just a fun toxic routine that I was getting accustomed to, because you know what? We get too comfortable. And so we want to learn how to do that change for ourselves. And that change can start with anything from just going and looking at the Perfect Day Guide, going and taking a course, coming and experiencing a Wolf non-surgical session, coming and experience a cardio med bed session, because you have specific ailments with your body. And you know what? The cream of the crop of the people that are like super adamant about, I actually truly have self-love, I don't need to be sick. And you know what? Maybe 3-5 times a year, I'm going to go for a cardio med bed session just to make sure I have the best circulatory system. My microcirculation is functioning absolutely amazing. And that's how I want to feel about it, because that's how I want to feel about myself. I don't want to wait until I have this disease or ailment to want to be healthy. I want to be healthy right now. I don't want to wait until I have these issues going on. I want to keep this vitality. And as I age, I know I'm not going to be able to backflip or run as fast as I used to. But the thing is, I want to have that mobility. I want to have that energy that I still have at this age when I'm 85. I want to make it to 100 without struggling to the finish line. I want to enjoy my life. I don't want to be that grouchy old man because I can't get that last turd out and it's causing me to be a little gassy. And you know what? Learn how to just say no and say yes to you. Because I do everything for others. I try to do this for others. I try to put myself on the line. But where do you draw the line, that love line for yourself? And so it's about just taking your power back. So girls, do you want to chime in? Have you had some clients or any things happen, Tora, maybe within the past little while, or do you want to talk about anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sage. That was a wonderful, really wonderful summary of everything, the energy medicine, and really what, the blocks that we hold. And being a practitioner, I've been sort of a practitioner for quite a number of years, and now having this incredible life-changing energy medicine in the toolkit, really reflecting what you've said. So what it really allows us to do to accelerate the healing, and often, the calcification, the stagnation, all the things that you talked about, is sort of a lifetime of accumulation. And because we are not taught to honor our bodies, to nourish our bodies, to heal our bodies with high vibrational nutraceuticals and food and beautiful plant-based organic lifestyle, then after a while we become very heavy and toxic, and we become very disconnected. And the current clients I'm working with actually on reflection are sort of in their 60s and 70s, and they've spent a lifetime of really not listening to their bodies, not honoring themselves, and they find themselves in a position that if they don't take massive personal action, the next 2, 5, 10 years actually look almost, I would say, like a kind of hell, because they can't move, they can't sleep, they can't eliminate. There's a lot of pain and stiffness in the body. And, if you were to ask me, like, why this energy medicine, as a practitioner, what it allows me to do to very quickly to shift years and years, like a lifetime of stagnation, of putrefaction, of calcification, of inflammation, of things that are locking down the physical body, the cellular biology, I can shift that in 2 or 3 treatments. And that is just magical. And so all we are really doing as practitioners, we are activating the body's life force, the body's healing, the body's circulation, and the body's incredible will to transform and to be well and to be vibrant. So we're really just restoring life force through the circulation, through, getting the tissue back to its healthy state. So the cells can do what they do best. So, removing those blocks. So for me, sort of as a sort of a umbrella looking into why we do this and the benefits and the results
and that's just
that we're able to give our clients.
With our clients, like some of them, and I get it, some of them want to make this a lifestyle, and it should be a lifestyle. But some people, I want it now. I want to be healthy now. I want to see the results right now. And taking these energy medicine devices while doing some of our structures from the diet to the non-surgical, and then you do these energy medicine devices, it expedites the process. It just expedites the process. It's like you got regular mail, or you got snail mail, or you got fast mail. And I'm okay with snail mail because snail mail is great. It's going to slowly allow my cells to change where they actually were creating memory now. Because if I do something too quick, also if I go back to my old routine, I can fall off fairly quick and my cells might want to revert back fairly fast. But if I kind of go snail mail, I am changing that cellular structure on a cellular level to where it can't just jump back to its old ways. It now has to take its time to create more toxicity to go back to that old way. But hopefully you've learned enough and you've experienced enough that we don't want to get back to that situation. But some clients, it's like, I want to see the results right now. So I'm like, combine some of the energy medicine with some of our therapeutic treatments, and you will see the results within the first treatment. You will see the mobility, the energy, the vitality come back to yourself within that first treatment.
Absolutely, Sage. And, and some real life people that I'm working with, I've recently worked with. For example, I had a gentleman who had a burst appendix, and he was sort of rushed to hospital, and he was in a hospital almost for 4 weeks on IV antibiotics. And when he came to me, he actually looked like he was more dead than alive.
Yep.
And he also had developed a massive cyst just below his appendix. And we know when these things happen, the body create like garbage stores, like a garbage can, to capture the putrefaction. And he had 2 treatments. We did the Wolf non-surgical, we did the Celsonic, and he's also on the beautiful nutraceuticals, the black gold, the black diamond, some of the other things. And I saw him 2 days ago in our local village. And this guy has put on 15 kilos. He's training, he's moving again. He's actually thinking of becoming a practitioner because he has really, and he said, oh, you healed me. He introduced me to a friend. And I said, no. You healed yourself. You activated your brave heart. You took responsibility. You stepped away from the system that was killing you, and your body started self-healing. And, to see people like that is just absolutely amazing. And another client I'm working with, a young man, he's only 18. He had a terrible accident. His front tire of his bicycle fell off, and he smashed his teeth. And his teeth have started to die, and he has sort of no feeling in his gums. And we've had he's had 2 sessions with me, and he's getting feeling in his gums around where his teeth are damaged. I mean, this stuff is amazing. His mother had booked him to Switzerland for some emergency surgery to sort of save his teeth. But within, such a short amount of time, we are really able to turn things around very, very quickly. And also for sort of dental or, gum disease, terrible cases of inflammation that's sort of been rife for many, many, many years. It really solves that very quickly. And then with the non-surgical, we go and we lovingly break up the, the calcification and the things that are really locking the system and stopping it from healing. So together with our nutraceuticals, our incredible Wolf non-surgical bodywork and the energy medicine, we really have the most incredible toolkit for healing and for regeneration.
There's no reason for anybody to be sick anymore if given the right environment. the thing is, everything is so pushed in our face that fast food, live quick, look at your phone, don't move. Like, it's just, we're so programmed now to just live a shitty lifestyle. And people think it's like, it's relaxing, it's easy, but it's so detrimental. And it's like, you wonder why you wake up in the morning and you have no energy. You wonder why, like, you come home from work and you don't want to go out for a walk and she's grouchy and you're not really getting along well. And why is this happening? Because it's toxicity within the cells. You know what? There's so many different dominoes that can cause the domino effect. Is it a hormonal imbalance? Is it too much waste in the gut? Is it your peritoneal lining breaking down where other organs aren't functioning properly now? Is it stagnation of circulation causing that putrefaction where limbs are getting cold and you're not getting the activation that you properly should have? Or the actual nerve communication is off because there's too much scar tissue wrapping around it. It's all a scar tissue issue. It's all a lack of oxygen within the blood's issue because we don't have enough oxygen. And so what do I want to do that? I want to start oxygenating my body by doing amazing breath work. And this is what myself at our clinic at the DoD 5-Star World Healing and Training Retreat and what my practitioners, my amazing, beautiful practitioners all around the world teach. It's that you come to them and you want a consultation. We're going to give you a consultation on what your perfect day should be. Your perfect day is going to change. It'll never stay the same because you're going to change as a being. You're going to grow. You're going to have different things, different goals, different aspirations that you want to get to. And so your perfect day is going to constantly change. If my health's in a detrimental state, I might need to do 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years of hard work to change that cellular structure, to change that mind mapping, because I've created a subconscious program where I was unwillingly not loving myself on a daily basis. And it's not that you're a bad person. This stuff is programmed in us from like 0 to 7 mostly, and then it's like imprinted when you're up to 14. You ain't getting rid of it generally unless you work hard at changing that program. And it takes about 30 to 60 days to just start to rewire a program. And that means you can't fall off of it. That means I do it every day, diligently for 30 days. And you hold yourself accountable. And it's not being like, oh, if you missed a day, you got to restart the days. But if you missed a day, it doesn't mean, oh, you're an idiot, you suck. It means, hey, now I have to hold myself more accountable. But you're never a failure. It's we fall forward and we pivot and we give it. And that's how you have to live it. So anybody else want to chime on in?
I totally can.
Beautiful.
I'm Alicia and I'm a practitioner in Calgary, Alberta. I really like what you were saying about, what's normal is not normal. It's only common. Our bodies are designed to eliminate toxins. The problem is that we don't support our eliminative organs very well at all. So that's where the nutrition and diet come in. But things like the Cellsonic or the Cardio Med Bed are really a catalyst to helping your body clear out the congestion that it has accumulated from just lack of self-love and lack of self-care. I've had some pretty amazing results with the Cellsonic with a handful of clients of mine. One of the most amazing ones was there was a gentleman, he was actually bedridden, had been in bed for 3 days because his lower back was in so much pain. I actually ended up taking the machine out to him because they just couldn't move. And after we did 1,000 pulses on the whole, like sacrum, coccyx, SI joints, and a little bit up that lower back. And within like 5 minutes, he was up and walking around. He's like, the pain is gone. And it was like a miracle thing. So he's going to be continuing with that and then getting some non-surgical work as well. But he was just like, oh my God, thank you so much for coming out to me, because he had tried. And
some things like that, it's going to be instantaneous. Some things not so, like everybody's body is different. And it's like, oh, it worked for Jimmy on the first and second treatment. Why didn't it work for me? It's because it's like your cells aren't wanting to give in, or you're still running a program that's kind of still feeding that belief that created it in the first place. But in general, some people, it's like instantaneous, as you're saying, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm immediately better. And you're like, I'm so happy to hear that. But you
Yeah,
just
well,
kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. Everyone's body is different, and you have to allow your body's healing process to enjoy the journey.
Yeah. Well, and some people have more calcification and dysfunction at the cellular level in that area. So it's going to take a few times to repeat before it actually sticks. I've seen it bring the inflammation like way down with
Yeah.
everybody that they get some sort of relief pretty much instantly.
Yeah.
There's a couple where I was working on a guy with torn rotator cuff, and it's just been kind of slow and steady. Feels a little bit better each time. We also used it on like post breast surgery.
Augmentation or surgery.
Yeah. And it's helped significantly with the healing of the tissue because of how it triggers that tissue regeneration. So it speeds up the process. But ultimately, each cell is 70% water, and structure. The structure of your cell determines function. So when you can bring back proper structure, you get enhanced function. So really, it's about helping your body do what it can already do and restoring communication that has been impeded through just our everyday toxic lifestyles, right? And our own ignorance as to what actually supports our body to function at an optimal level. I was just trying to think here. I had a gentleman that came in with his knee, had really bad arthritis in his knee. So we did non-surgical first. And actually we did a little bit of cell-sonic first to help break up the calcification. Then we did non-surgical, and then we followed it up with a little more cell-sonic afterwards. And he called me the next day and he's like, wow, this is awesome. He's like, I'm coming back to see you here in a week, and I should have come sooner. And he's away for work right now, but he'll be back again as well. And then we started addressing a couple other issues as well. He's very pleased. I had another gentleman that came in, and he had cataract in his eyes. And so we've been doing non-surgical on the occiput and following up with cell-sonic, and he's had 2 treatments. And when he went to the eye doctor, things are significantly better, to the point where his pupils were not actually dilating properly with response to light. And he has something like a 60% improvement.
Oh, amazing.
From that checkup. So yeah, he's like, and afterwards he's like, I slept the best ever. That I like right after a treatment. It's like amazing. Like, well,
and that's
really
just
good.
it. After some of these energy medicine devices too, you're gonna have the best sleeps because you're cellularly healing now. And so your body's in that parasympathetic state, and it says, well, as long as you try to like stay in that state by like not doing specific other things, but in general, if you are trying to be in that healing state, you're gonna have the best sleeps afterwards. And I notice a lot with my clientele because I deal with everybody who's like fairly healthy, and I deal with a lot of people who are very unhealthy. And it's just a lifestyle. But I notice a lot when you do the large detox areas from like the neck to the chest, or like you do the spine or the abdomen, it wears them out a little bit. Like that evening, and that's usually within the first and second treatment. And same thing when I was talking about with people who are getting like jabbed and stuff like that, you want to use it for it. But I noticed with one of my clients, and this guy, there's some people who do more research than anything and then try more things than anything, and that can sometimes be detrimental to the body because it's an overload. Because he would jump from one diet to the next, and so he wasn't too sure. He was like, he did the keto diet, he went vegetarian, and then he went straight carnivore for 2 years straight. And that it alleviated some of his symptoms, but he wasn't still getting his optimal health. And I actually went out and trained him in Australia. Amazing gentleman. And I was like, the carnivore diet has to go. You can still have some meat, because he was freaking out about just coming off of it. But we implemented some very easily digested vegetables, easily digestible vegetables. And he was fine with it, and then we keep changing. And now he's almost on a full plant-based diet. He has meat here and there, but now he's on a full plant-based diet. It doesn't irritate his gut. We just had to change the microbiome. It's like if I was a complete vegetarian and I was really adamant about having a whole plant-based lifestyle, and I was really healthy. Just say I did that for about 2-3 years. Then I went to eating fast food. For the next maybe about month to 6 weeks, my gut is gonna feel like it's being shredded apart. And then after that time being has passed, I'm feeling like it's okay. I can eat the meal. I'm a little sluggish, but it's not so bad anymore. Because my body says, you were trying to kill me before, but now I have to create all these protective programs to actually take it on and feel like it's food. But then same thing goes. If you have a really crappy diet, and then I put you onto a full fresh and raw diet with all these beautiful vegetables and fruits, your gut's gonna feel like it's getting shredded apart because it's a totally different biome that it's not accustomed for. It's not ready to do that. So we have to implement something slowly. It's like if I was dealing with a full alcoholic and they're like, I'm gonna go cold turkey off the alcohol. That can be very dangerous. So it's like, no, maybe 1-2 drinks a week still, because you're drinking a bottle every night. You do this, your organs might shut down on us. You can't go from one extreme to another and one extreme to another and expect to have a cadence of like peace, of like my body's at an essence of joy. And so, because it's all two extremes. But the first time I did the Cell Sonic, where I was kind of getting off track, but I just wanted to explain that a little bit there. But the first time I did the Cell Sonic on his neck and occiput, 2 weeks, super sick. He felt like he got COVID again, but it was his body detox. And then I went back to Australia, because I went to Australia like 3 times within 6 months. It was ridiculous. I flew around the world too many times last year. But I love it, but it was a lot. And so, in general, second time we did the Cell Sonic on his neck and occiput, that evening, because he didn't feel bad that evening the first time, but then afterwards, it was 2 weeks, he was like feeling like he's like run down, and he had to do all these like detox protocols to just flush that toxicity out. Second time we did it, for about 4 hours that evening, felt the exact same issues, kind of like COVID-y symptoms or whatever you want to call it, aches and pains, body not feeling good. Next morning, felt amazing. So it shows his cells are activating that much faster. They're changing, they're cleaning themselves. They're now alive, and his body's saying, oh, I'm not so overloaded and you're shaking me up to clean it all out. But now I just had some stuff I just had to keep pushing out. Just the last leg of it. And so you can actually see they're changing within their healing rate. And that just consists of like non-surgical too. Somebody who's really toxic, they might bruise visibly. But I have people who go to bed and wake up the next morning and they're like, I don't know where these bruises came from. And it's like, well, you have a blood disease. Your blood is so toxic right now, you're an overripe piece of fruit, and that's not good. And then as we do the non-surgical on these clients, 3, 4, 5 sessions down the road, in 3 to 5 days they're healed. And you guys have probably seen that quite often as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a couple clients that bruise like bananas, and it's for first 2 sessions are all like purple and
And
green,
you don't need to go
yellow.
deep at all. You don't really need to go
not
that
at
deep
all.
with them, because it's the tissue just responding, saying, wow, like I'm just so toxic. This is like what the blood looks like inside.
Yeah. And then within 2 to 3 sessions, they're like, oh wow, I didn't bruise at all. I'm like, tissue's becoming healthier there. And it's like I'm going deeper than I went the first, time or two. And it's really quite interesting to see. And it's funny you mentioned the gentleman that had like where he felt not so good for a week or two. I was working on a gentleman that had stage 4 inflammation in the brain, actually, and we did Cell Sonic, and he had not been sleeping at all for like 2 weeks before he came to see me. And after his first session, he was like, I actually had a sleep and felt rested for the first time in a long time. And he's been through a lot. And then he was gone for 2 weeks. He come back and saw me again. We kind of did 3 sessions in a row, and he had 2.5 weeks of feeling like where he had headaches, not feeling so good. We got him on a bunch of nutraceuticals at the same time. And then just this last week, he's like, my headaches are gone. I have a lot more energy. I'm still sleeping. And it's like, give the body what it needs. And it's truly amazing what it's capable of.
Exactly. Beautiful. Anybody else want to share? Magdalena.
Hello. Hi,
Hello.
Dr. Sage. How are you?
Good, and yourself, love?
I'm wonderful. It's so nice to see you
Nice to see
in
you.
the show. Thank you. And yes, my name is, let me present myself. My name is Magdalena. I am in Toronto. And I was working a few weeks ago with a little boy. He has a scar in the chest. And because he had a heart surgery before, so
Okay.
I was working on it. So yeah, for the scar, and he will probably come back again, and we did the
And so
ultrasonic on
with
him.
the scar
So this is
itself, was it like protruding? Does he notice any issues with it? Like, is it a keloid scar where it like raises above the skin?
yeah, he's getting that because the parents know that when you have a scar or any surgery, it creates issues in the tissues.
And how
So
old is
they
this?
know
How
that,
old is this
and
boy?
4 years old.
Yeah, and see, he's so young. Right now, his body, totally fine. It can handle it. But they did heart surgery. And so, as we know it as non-surgical practitioners, what creates more scar tissue than anything else? Surgery. It's impossible not to. You're going in with a knife. And so, yes, maybe the surgery was necessary. Maybe he had a hole in his heart. Maybe he had something like instantly wrong that needed to be dealt with in the moment for the surgery. Maybe it was a complete emergency. And that is when the medical system is necessary. And you know what? Great. They could have saved his life. I don't know the whole situation. But now that he has a scar on top, down the road, when he starts to want to be more active and do things and play sports, that scar tissue is going to riddle through and choke off a little bit around that heart, causing not good circulation to be pumping through the heart anymore. And so now that can cause issues down the road. So you should be totally doing the cell sonic to make sure that the scar tissue stays nice and open, but you should be teaching the family how to go in lovingly. It might only take, because it's only going to take you 3 hours, an hour, 2 hours to go over just a scar. We're not going to teach them how to do the neck, the occiput, the low back, the hips, but maybe the family would like to learn how to go in lovingly with the elbow. And with a child that's 4 years old, you can just start with your knuckle. And then as they grow and as they build, you're building confidence with them, because we never want to scare them away. Like if I have a client coming in and they want that calcified hip worked on and they're like, I don't have a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell them that the non-surgical, it's going to hurt a little bit. It's surgery without the knife. And so I'm going in and I'm having to peel the tissue apart to create healthy blood flow, healthy circulation to reconstruct that tissue. And then if it is calcified, it's going to take some treatments to reverse that calcification. But you, Magdalena, for like 2-3 hours, just show them the technique, you're amazing. So go in and open up that scar and lovingly teach them how to pull it apart, because every month it would be good to just 5-7 minutes, just go along that scar and around the heart to open up that tissue that's binding it, just to make sure nothing ever settles too much, because no matter what, and it doesn't mean it's the end all be all if you had a hip replacement, if you had a shoulder replacement, if you've had a surgical scar. But now that there has been surgery, the body always now feels like that was an attacked area. So when when the weather gets cold, when you're feeling a little fatigued, like people are like, my bad knee's acting up or my bad hip's acting up. The same thing is going to happen with your surgeries. You're going to start to feel it a little bit more as it ages, as it progresses. And so we want to be adamant about, like, every once in a while, I'm doing my clapping to really stimulate and pulling a little bit of those fibers apart just around the general joint. Then I want to go in maybe with one-shot therapy and actually clean out the crystallization around the fossa of the bone ledge, or just, it depends on the area that we're working. But you could do one-shot therapy, you could do clapping, you could do just stretches specific to that area. It's just when somebody gets injured or when somebody's sick, it's like, oh, don't touch it. Oh, don't leave it alone. Why would I have a scar that's trying to heal. I get it. They put stitches in. But as soon as I see that there's scabbing holding it together, I'm going to be mindful. If I have a child, yes, and they're very young and they still like playing, maybe I won't take the stitches out just as that healed, because it could still pop back open. But for myself, I'm a mindful person. I want this scar to heal the best way possible. So as soon, 2-3 days later, your tissue should start to mend together. So then I might remove the stitches and I might just be very gentle with that area. And then about maybe 5-7 days later, because now the skin's not protruding. A lot of times when keloid scars happen too, it's because the stitches were too tight, pushing the tissue together. And now that scar healed along the seam, causing the skin to be raised up. And so it's just, maybe the doctor put the stitches a little too tight. And maybe it was a large incision, so it needed to happen. There's so many variants of why things can happen. But we can't always attack the same problem with the same solution that we think we have. We have to try to come at it on all different angles, because I want to be a well-rounded practitioner. I want to be a well-rounded teacher. I want to be a well-rounded doctor, whatever you want to call it. I want to be well-rounded. I want to be diverse. I want to be that Swiss Army knife. I don't want to be just master of one thing, because eventually that one thing, it's going to fall off. But yeah, like I was saying, Magdalena, Cellsonic, amazing, because you're keeping the tissue and the cells healthy in the area from anything really mending too tough. But you should teach the family how to do a little bit of loving non-surgical on the area so they can progress with this down the road with their child.
Thank you, That was great information. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And I also have good news as well.
I like good news.
We're excited to host Dr. Daryl Wolf.
Yeah,
for this upcoming lecture tour across Canada. So you can come and come. We are inviting you to come and spend a day with the dog. That's going to be on Saturday, the May the 4th, Monte Casino Hotel. And
yeah, perfect. If I just hop up right here, I will. So Daryl's lecturing right now in Calgary today, and that's going to be with the rain, and then he'll be going to Kelowna on April 25th, and then Dr. Wolf's live lecture will be in Oliver, BC on the April 27th, and then yes, Magdalena, May the 4th on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You have the day with the doc. That is going to be very exciting.
Yes, it's going to be, and actually it's very amazing, because you can all learn how to nourish yourself in an emotional, physical, and nutritional level. Plus, you can experience the greatest energy medicine healing devices. And you can get all your questions answered right there. We're going to have the Cellsonic in there. And you can call me if you are interested, because we have a limit space. My number is 416-669-9351. You can call me, and you come, and it's going to be free entrance. But I need that you call, or you can sign up on bhnuniversity.com.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Dr. Sage. Yeah.
Thank you. And what about you, Marie? How you doing? Oh, you're muted. Boink.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
Hey, how's it going, love?
Great. So I'm doing good. I'm excited to go. I'm taking a friend up to Calgary. I'm about 2 hours away from there for the event that's happening on Friday, I believe. Yeah, Friday night.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited about that, and I'm also looking forward to Cellsonic, because I don't have any other practitioners where I live, so it's kind of hard for me to get it, and I've got some issues in my neck and occipitals, and it's been going ongoing, and it's frustrating, because I'm thinking, what is the root cause of this, right? So it's got to be my digestion, I'm thinking, because what else would it be? So anyway, so that's really where I want to go. And so my question, I guess, is, yeah, I can have this, but what can I do to stop this pain? I mean, I know it's going to help my pain and clear things up a bit, but what can I do?
What area are you in right now?
Pardon me?
Where do you live? What area are you in?
I'm in Lethbridge.
Lethbridge, okay. And how many treatments have you had on your neck?
None.
None at all?
No.
That's the issue. We got to go in there. In all honesty, if I saw you, neck is my favorite to do, because it's a small area, because yes, the spine is multiple vertebrae, but the neck itself is pretty much just C1 to C7. And so I personally love doing the neck, because it's a small area and it's very intricate, and we spend up to an hour on it. I would want to go into your neck and like pull it apart 3 times back to back, because it's impossible not to, darling. We all go through stresses in life. We all kind of shoulder up. We bind a little bit. And then of course from like specific things from when you're younger, whipping your hair, shoulder checking, moving too fast, falling, all these things are creating little micro tears within the fascia. And then the neck is such a mobile area, and people, when they feel like it's bad, they do try to wring on the neck, which is really bad for it. We want to be stretching always to like one side and then the other. But we have so much micro tearing because of our sternocleidomastoids and our scalene muscles within the neck. They come down on quite a big angle, and then you have your traps back here. But this is doing so much movement. But if I'm in contraction as well and I'm doing a lot of movement, it's creating micro tears. And those micro tears is going to be what creates that lactic and uric acid to go to the area. And then when we release that histamine, adrenaline, and cortisol by not being in that nice parasympathetic state, which only majority of the population, even probably myself sometimes, some days, it's only about maybe 6 to 10%. And that's a lot. That's me giving a lot. That's me being perfectly in the present moment. And so there's a lot of times where we're creating that scar tissue. So I would truly want to go in there like 3 times back to back. Put maybe 200 to 300 pulses in there in between, right after my sessions. And in all honesty, that neck issue would be no neck issue no more. I would start doing, though, at home, at least clapping, and then using that plate, like a small dinner plate. And if you get a thinner one with the ledges, really tuck it into that occipital ledge, because that's where things are attaching to. So if that's really tough on your occipital ledge, we want to slowly open up those fibers to at least bring more flow up to relieve some of that tension.
Okay, great. Yeah.
But you said you're going to see Daryl's lecture?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm bringing a friend.
I say opt in and say you have a neck issue. He'll fix it.
Okay. He'll fix it. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's just, Daryl will show you in a very short amount of time. Like generally with you, I would work an hour on that neck. I push you, but I lovingly pull that tissue apart. I find your pain threshold and we hover around it. Dr. Wolf, within 10 minutes, will actually show you the relief you can get, but he kind of pushes you past that pain threshold a little bit. So you got to be willing to be like, I want this issue gone, but I'm up for the challenge of trying to get through it.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. I'll be brave. Yeah. I mean, I know, but that's because he worked on my hand.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah. Awesome. I will do that. Yeah. Thank you.
So does anybody else have anything left they want to say or chime in before we wrap this one up?
Speaking about neck. Oh, go for it, Tora.
Wait, what?
Go for it, Tora.
Okay, we're fighting. We love this all so much. So I just wanted to say that I'm from the east coast of Australia. I didn't really introduce myself. And I am the host for the courses and certifications down under. And Dr. Wolf, Dr. Sage Wolf, and their team of master trainers are coming again this August to do the trainings and certifications.
Yeah,
and
so
if
we
you're
just split the screen right now. So if can they see what I'm seeing right now, guys, on this?
PDG free.
Like the Stuart coughs and Ixtapa? Yeah. Okay. So as long as they can see that should have your phone numbers and stuff, because sometimes when you say it on it, people have a hard time writing that down. So if they can see everybody's phone number up here, especially, that's your phone number, Tora, yeah. You could contact Tora if you're interested in learning about the Wolf Non-Surgical, experiencing it, coming and getting trained when we come down to Australia. I was there 3 times last year doing treatments and trainings, guys. Australia is a huge place, and it's going to be huge because you guys are like the biggest country that's like an island away. So you want to have a good amount of practitioners and trainers on your massive island because Australia is a huge country. And so we have lots of practitioners throughout Australia already, but we want more. We want, like, in all honesty, my vision for this is having at least one person in every family realm knowing at least how to do nutritional, emotional, and physical training like Wolf Non-Surgical. Some form of healing, because we all deserve to heal. And the people out there don't care for you that much. As you can see, the things that you're being force-fed day in, day out from the media to what you're actually consuming, They don't care for us that much, guys. So at least find something. If it's not our courses, it's some course out there that's going to be an amazing tool under your belt that's going to feel like it actually gives you the power to say, I can stand in my power, and I know that I can be the healer of my family, and my family can heal itself. But you know what? We'll go to the hospital if we get into a car accident, if I break a bone and I have this emergency that I need to deal with because there's a compact fracture, because those guys are the best there is. And I only recommend that for that. But when it comes down to your health and well-being, you should put you first.
That's right. And this certification is really an incredible opportunity to shift everything that you think, that you know, to really heal lifetimes of conditioning. And, you know, we spent 21 days together, and, you know, and I've facilitated the training a few times now, and to see the changes on every level, the whole, you know, the spirit comes back, and the energy, the life force, the whole outlook on our reality. And, you know, watching these beautiful men and women just really take massive personal action and to choose a different life on the physical, emotional, and on cellular level. It's just absolute magic. And, you know, if you're sitting there and you are touched by this, you are really, you know, like when I first heard Dr. Wolf speak, like something inside my body, my being activated. I knew that I was called. And we say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And we live in a time where there's so much dysfunction and so much toxicity, but we're also living in a time where the possibilities are unlimited. And it's really our spirit, it's our belief, it's our choosing ourselves now, choosing life, choosing healing, choosing living our best lives, and becoming the practitioner and the healer within, and being that person within your family. And by healing our reality now, we heal generations, I believe, of the past, and open the way for future generations to come. So come and join us, the Braveheart family. We are like family. You know, we're brothers and sisters coming together, often from an environment that doesn't support our passion and our purpose and support our vitality and the things that are really calling us. So we're kicking off on the 7th of August in Coffs Harbour, and with Dr. Darryl Wolf, and then Dr. Sage Wolf is taking us from the 17th for the Wolf Non-Surgical, the most powerful body work. And I will have my whole, I call it a stable of energy medicine available. So we're going to have the cardio bed, we're going to have the Cellsonic, we're going to have the Biotron, the Avus, and all those things to really support your healing next level.
Where are they?
Did Sage leave? Oh, there he
No,
is.
I got you there. Where are they?
We're here.
No, not you guys. They say apparently we have some questions coming in, so
Okay, perfect.
I would like us to answer those if
If you can find the questions.
so. The questions aren't popping up, but we can save that for next week when we do it. And I'll jot down the question. I'll have you jot down the questions, and we'll answer all your questions next week. I'm just not seeing them pop up here, guys. So my apologies for that. But you had something to say, Alicia.
Oh, I did. It was just another testimony to the neck for non-surgical. I had a gentleman that came to see me. He had been in 4 car accidents over the course of like 15 years. And most recently he had done 4 years of physio, but he couldn't turn his neck to the right more than like a centimeter.
Wow.
So by his 3rd session, and like it felt like he had gravel in his neck. It was crazy. But by his 3rd session, he had like 80% range of motion back to the right. He's like, this is like nothing I've ever experienced before. I didn't think I'd ever be able to turn my head to the right again. And you've totally given me my life back. And that was 3 one-hour sessions. He noticed that it was quite painful the first time, but each time it was way better. And he was like, I did 4 years of physio and it didn't touch it. Like he gained no range of motion and spent how much money? And it was like, I wish I had found this multiple years ago.
Yeah, like, and that's just it though. Like, we're talking about this for like people healing, but in general, you guys have been doing this for quite a while now. How amazing and how rewarding is this? Like, and yes, the thing is that their body heals itself, but I was the tool that was used to help heal. And so it is a pretty damn rewarding job being like, we're helping all these people just become more in their power and helping these people just like let their body be free. And I just like that to me is why I'm in this business. There's a lot of other jobs out there that interest me. But this is like, learning about health is so important because our world's really toxic. We've gone over that. And damn, this is a rewarding job. It's beautiful to see people change.
It's more of like play, really, is what I find. It doesn't feel like a job
Yeah,
at
exactly.
all. And you're right, our world has become so toxic that if you're not planning a strategy for your own health and vitality, you're just being robbed of decades of your life when it comes down to it. And all those things that it's like, oh, it's normal to get arthritis. It's normal to end up with a cane or a walker. It's not normal. It's common. You go back 50, 60 years ago, there was way less in the way of walking aids and assistance than there is today. And why? Because there's been a strategic plan to systematically poison us through the food, through the water, through the air that we breathe. So if you can create a strategy for supporting your body and getting back in that nutrition, and most importantly, learn to love yourself and how to manage your stress, because your stress is probably the number one toxicity, because our brain is a chemist and it releases hormones that acidify the body terrain. And that is so key, because you can be like, I've been into health for years and it hasn't done anything for me. Why waste my time? It's like, you need to learn how to manage that emotion right there. Right?
100%.
Your outlook on life, because that has a huge influence. If you can stay in the present moment, if you can focus on loving yourself and all the amazing things in life, then you're secreting hormones that are actually alkalizing to that environment. And that is going to support your health, like number one, like above anything else. And the other things are just like the icing on the cake, so to speak.
Oh, stress will cause more inflammation in the body than any diet. It doesn't matter. Yeah, like you could be, it's a true analogy. There's the 90-year-old grandpa who smokes a pack of cigarettes and drinks his case of beer a day, and he loves his life, man. Yes, he's happy, but he's like, and yeah, he doesn't have great mobility. But man, he loves his life. Like he loves getting off work, drinking his beer, doing his thing. He's so content. Then you have the 36-year-old vegan who just got stage 4 inflammation. And how does that happen? Because they're putting themselves through the ringer to do whatever they're doing, and it's not actually pleasing their heart, their soul, their spirit. And so it's how you're gonna manage your stress, how you're gonna live your life, and are you living your true, authentic self? That is the main thing.
Do you view your taking care of your health as a punishment? Because I know a lot of people that do.
Yeah,
they view
it's like a punishment
like,
to eat healthy. It's a punishment to take your supplements. And I'm like, man, yeah, but smile when you have that cigarette. You smile when you have that drink. It's just like, it just shows the lack of self-love, and it shows where you hold yourself. And it doesn't mean you're a bad person for doing it, guys. I'm not bashing anybody on here. But you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that's where you hold yourself. And if that's where you're at, I want you to want better for yourself. That's it. Let's. Oh, wait, what were you gonna say?
I just said baby steps to loving yourself. It's not about making a black and white change where it feels like a punishment and you're depriving yourself of things. It's adding in and then noticing how you start to feel better.
Yeah, exactly. So just a couple quick questions before we close this off for the day, guys. So, hey, Sage, what is the issue with cold hands? There could be a couple reasons behind that, darling. So you could have a scar tissue issue either in your brachial plexus, which is, you have one on either side, but if it's on both hands, then I could be saying it's coming from cervical 7. Cervical 7 is like your control center for the upper back and arms. So if you're having really lack of circulation, you have a lot of scar tissue formation around the C7 area, you're not getting proper flow down the arms. But if you have damage to the front side with around here, this is your brachial plexus, plexus, that cluster of nerves can come down your hand. That can irritate the area as well. But if you have stagnant circulation, so you have putrefaction in your blood, your circulatory system's really slow, I would recommend only drinking hot water, lemon, and a good pinch of cayenne. Have a good pinch of cayenne in all your drinking waters. That'll help remove plaque buildup within your blood. It's super inexpensive. It helps fight infection, boost circulation. It's amazing. Cayenne pepper is awesome. It's a little acidic for some people, so if you are already a super acidic person and you get like heartburn and stuff like that, it might feel like it's irritating you at the beginning, but it helps clean out the bile ducts within the stomach itself, so you'll actually be creating better stomach acid eventually. So eating spicy food is not the same thing as just having cayenne pepper within your water. So two totally separate things. Just not like, oh, I love putting cayenne in my food. No, different, because now you're turning it into a digestible, and I don't want that because that can create more stomach acid, and then it's not create more stomach acid, you don't have enough stomach acid, and it's mixing with the food. That's why it's splashing up by your stomach trigger, your diaphragmatic hole. But generally, just a pinch of cayenne pepper, like in the morning in a warm glass of water, start sipping on that. That will really help. Or look into one of our supplements called Curcumin Cayenne 5000. I would recommend taking about 8 a day, do 1 every hour. And if that's really irritating your stomach, it shows quite a bit of inflammation. So just take it with meals so it doesn't irritate you as much. Then the last question though was, Tora, do you have a cardio med bed? Please and thank you. And you can answer that, but I know that her cardio med bed, it should be there soon. It's
in
in
Melbourne
Australia
at the moment, so
it's in Melbourne.
I'll have it in a couple of weeks, which is very exciting. I've got
very
a
exciting.
lineup.
Okay, because we had to ship them all. We had to ship them because, like I said, biggest island in the middle of nowhere, and so we shipped them all out. They arrived in Melbourne. That is super fantastic for me to hear. She'll have hers in a couple weeks. So yes, she does have one.
Absolutely. And you can give me a call on 041 399 3493 if you would like to make a booking, or also if you have any questions about the upcoming courses and trainings.
Beautiful. Well, I just want to say thank you, ladies, for hopping on. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed this. We will do this again next week. I hope everybody at Braveheart Nation who was watching enjoyed, and you all just have the most wonderful evening, morning, depending on where you're at. Have a blessed day, and we'll catch you in the next one, guys.